Anyone else feel like they can finally breathe again when springtime rolls around? If it's you too, you're not alone, sis. This is the reason I'm making this video. So springtime is usually known for the spring cleaning, the bright colors, the decor, the flowers and trees blossoming and blooming. And it's like a breath of fresh air. But oftentimes we usually think of spring cleaning as I just need to reset my home, maybe declutter, maybe put up some spring decor to lighten the mood. But for me, I think about it as a reset, like a total reset that is indeed necessary, especially as a homeschool mom. Springtime is usually around the time where we kind of feel the burnout, where we kind of need a break, or at least that's just me. And it's like, I need to reevaluate some things. It doesn't even have to be homeschool related. It could be your obligations. It could be some things you need to work on for yourself. It could be some spiritual things that you need to let go of, or spiritual things you need to work on. And so in today's video, I really want to talk about it. I was initially thinking about sharing me spring cleaning and going through our homeschool things, but I was like, you know what? Something even bigger and more important to me is talking about the load that we may have, some things that we take on that we don't really need to do, and just some ways to just reset, right? Like we all need. So I have a few things, a few areas that I want to touch on. And at the end of the video, definitely leave a comment, leave some feedback. If you can relate at any point in this video, I would love to see your comments. Okay, so let's get to it. You may be thinking, like, why do you feel like you need to reset? Like, what are some of those symptoms? Or if you don't know you need to reset, this is probably a reason you need to consider doing a reset. So it often stems from you feeling overwhelmed. You feel like you're constantly rushed. Your days are super long, but you feel like you're not getting a lot accomplished. There's not a lot of joy in your daily activities. Your day-to-day starts to feel like, mundane. It starts to feel, I wouldn't say boring, but like too much for you, like you can't do it. The things that you're supposed to love doing seems like it's a chore to you. You have a difficult time being present with your family, with your kids. If you homeschool, you know how important your presence is and just interacting with them. I'm guilty. I've gone through a season to where I'm just like, look, this is what you need to do. Let me go in my room. Let me go in my office, just get a little quiet time. But it's like, is that what I really need to do, right? And also, it may get to the point where you're neglecting your personal needs. I feel like going through the winter transition, winter is known for, everything's dying, right? And so a lot of spirits are down. A lot of people lack motivation in the winter months. For one, it's cold, but also it's like those are some things that you need to shed off, right? So if you think of winter as the dead season, or the season where not a lot is going on, the season where you're losing your interest and things of that nature, in the spring, it's kind of like a rebirth. It's like a chance to do something that you love. It's a chance to get it right, a chance to blossom or bloom into the thing that you want to be. So I'm taking the spring cleaning as a reset, a way to just look over the things that I'm currently doing, look over the years or look over the last few months to see like what areas have I neglected. What are some things that I didn't really pay attention to that has been affecting me? What are some areas that I need to improve in? It can be the small things, right? So I love that most people already spring clean. If you notice, it's like, okay, well, I have toys piled up over here. I have clothing that I've outgrown, or, the temperature is changing. I have, maybe something in the kitchen that I don't use anymore, whatever the case may be. So it gives you a sense of the physical things in your home that you no longer need, that doesn't serve a purpose. So for me, I was looking back on things that I've committed to, right? So like different obligations, things that I've, volunteered myself for, things that I was trying to create, trying to run business, whatever the case may be. Like there's so many obligations that we usually, sign up for, and we don't really count the cost. We don't really know how much it's going to require of us. We don't really, sometimes you start things for just genuinely being interested in it, and you notice that it's draining you or it's not the fit for you, and it's like, at what point do I decide that I no longer need to be doing this thing? So that's something I've been thinking about. I was like, for years, you see the memories on Instagram, Facebook, or you see things that you've done, pictures you've posted, videos, things of that nature. For me, I looked at all of the business ventures I've started, all of the things that I've created, different things that I've started that just, drop, like different things that I've started and just let go of either too early, or I extended it, or I continue to do things too long. And it's like, why am I doing this? Like, what am I doing too much of? Am I adding too much to my plate? And the question often is yes. Like, I am the type of person where I know that I'm gifted in the areas. I know a lot of information, and I want to be a person who could, help other moms, to share the journey, to give information, to try to teach on this and teach on that. But it's like, at what cost, right? Are you doing too much? You cannot be everything for everybody. Of course, you love yourself, you prioritize your family, your home, and anything extra is gonna always lean over in the way it's supposed to be. So for me, I was like, okay, I tried to start this Facebook group, homeschool group for like field trips and stuff like that. Not a lot of interest in the past few months. Of course, I've been trying to grow my YouTube channel. I've been doing brand deals with brands. I've been, working on physical products, digital products. I used to craft a lot, like do crafts and sew and things of that nature. And I'm like, you know what? It has gotten to a point where I don't even enjoy being super creative anymore. I feel like it's more of a burden than it is fun to pull out my machines, to sew, to create things, and it shouldn't be that way. But I was like, you know what is causing me to feel this way? What are some things that I'm doing that's taking away from the joy that I should have? And so for me, I was just looking at, okay, this is what I have to do. This is what I have to do. This is what I signed up for. This is all the trips and the places we're going to meet up with different children. And it's like, you know what? I'm in a season now where I'm evaluating our homeschool thing. And I'm like, I was the mom who wanted to get out and about as often as I could to take the kids out. But I'm like, I need some structure. Like, I need some time here at home to make sure everything is good and is going smoothly, because like what I've noticed is trying to create like a homeschool field trip type group is you can meet up with different families, the kid gets to socialize, but it's like, have you prepped what you need to prep? Are you caught up on laundry? Are you doing things for yourself? What should be something fun and engaging can turn into something that's like leaving you behind, causing you a little bit more stress, and also is interrupting the flow of your day for your family. So I would say simplify your commitments and obligations. Think about your homeschooling schedule, how often you're going out, if you're meeting with co-ops and things of that nature. Is it really serving you in this season? Is it requiring too much of you? Is it interfering with your daily flow that you want for your family? So consider that. Also learn to just say no. Sometimes things sound really good and you're like, oh, I can benefit from that, or maybe I can learn that one day. Just say no in this season. Simplify things. Once you simplify the things, you can always add on once you have mastered it, or once you're really comfortable, once you're winning at your priorities. Any extra time should be devoted to something that's going to bring you joy, not stress, not overwhelm. And don't get me wrong, hard things do take time, but it's like, is this something I really need to be doing? So I feel like I talked a lot about that, kind of just trying to weed in my personal reflections with some practical advice and tips to just reflect and get your life together as well. So next thing I want to touch on is basically nurturing your spirit, nurturing your mental, your emotional, and just a few ways to get the life back, to reset. If you have anything or too much of anything going on, you could be overwhelmed, and that often leads to emotions that you don't want to put on your children or your family. You set the mood in your home, so it's like you have to often think about the ways that your mood will affect other people. So a lot of times it could be simple steps that we take, simple switches that we make, simple things we add into our daily routine. And that could be something as simple as quiet time. It could be your journaling in the morning. It could be waking before the kids. It could be reflecting at night when you're preparing for the next day. It could be the quiet time that you have when your children are, reading books or taking a nap or whatever the case may be. It is very, very important It helps so much gather your thoughts, reflect, have a clear mind. When you have too much going on, it's like you don't know what to think about. It's just so many thoughts running through your head, especially if you don't write it down, and especially if you have too much to do. Like, I had a lot of deadlines I needed to meet, that I wanted to do personal projects for myself, that I wanted to make time for creative things, but yeah, it's always a juggle and battle, and it's like the things that I wanted to do, I don't have the time for because I'm too overwhelmed, or I overcommitted myself. So quiet time is a must, and finding time to wind down and, you know, meditate, read your scriptures, read your Bible. It helps. It helps. Another thing that helps is spending time in nature by yourself or with your family. Yes, I love being outside. I am from a rural area, which is considered a country, so we always were outside, you know, growing up, and my children want to be outside too. So I feel like, you know, get out in nature for the fresh air, for the sunlight. It is just necessary. It is necessary, and it often helps you put things into perspective. You know, if you're quiet, you know, if you're paying attention to things, like often I like to look at the trees or look up at the sky or just look around me, and it's like you find things, small details, small things to give you inspiration, small things to put things into perspective. It's just like you think differently. You have time to, you know, create new ideas and things of that nature. So time in nature is amazing, it's vital, and it's often the way I want to start our days when it warms up. Like, the day goes by smoothly, okay? The next thing we're going to talk about is engaging in creative activities or pursuing hobbies. I know I mentioned this before, but it's like, it's necessary. I would say that I've gone through a few different hobbies, and I have a video on that, but it's like sometimes the thing that used to bring me joy no longer brings me joy. If it becomes to a point where I'm doing it for other people, for pay, or I have a deadline on when I need to finish it and stuff like that, it's no longer something I enjoy. It's a job, you know, so it's like finding that thing that's creative, that's only for you, that's going to bring you joy, that's going to help you wind down, or just, you know, keep you learning. I think that's very important. I'm going to try to revisit some of my old hobbies, and like I have, you know, embroidery machines here, sewing machine, cutting machines, a Cricut. Like, I have so many things that I could literally sit and be creative. Art supplies, you know, I've collected like crayons and markers and sketchbooks for myself, and it's like, are you gonna make time to do that? Right? Like, are you gonna make time to do that? I said I want to, you know, start doing like an art day with my kids where we sit down and draw together, or color together, or just do something, you know, that's similar to a quiet time activity, but we're all doing it together. Because often they ask me, like, why are you not coloring with us? Or, you know, do you want to do this? And I'm like, sometimes I have things to do, so I'm just gonna, you know, get it started, and I want y'all to finish it, and then y'all can bring it to me. But I want to be a present mom that can make time to sit down and color with her children, to sit down and do the fun things, right? So and it's very, very good, you know, for family bonding, and it's also like a way to be creative, right? So coloring is very calming. It's very, very calming. But yeah, and the next thing I have is to set new goals for yourself, as far as like spiritual goals. So whether it's increasing how much you read, increasing your prayer, speaking with like-minded individuals, you know, also reading things and listening to things that uplift your spirit. It could be classes, it could be books, it could be self-help books, it could be talking to other people, it could be watching videos, like things like that. Sometimes when I'm a little bit like down, I'll pop on something, like, and I hear something that'll get me right on together. Like, it don't even take a lot sometimes. It's just sometimes you're in your head too much, and you just need something to give you a pick-me-up. Or you hear something and it's like, yes, this is what I needed to hear. So, and I like to do that. Often I see little quotes when I go places, or, you know, I'll be scrolling, or, you know, I'll be reading a book, and it's like, dang, this is exactly what I needed. So yeah, we talked about, you know, overcommitment, resetting your spirit, and then the last thing I want to talk about is reconnecting with family. With homeschooling for us, it's kind of like, I'm not gonna say isolating. It's sometimes can feel lonely. I feel like when you homeschool and most of your family, they are either, you know, working all the time, or they are, you know, at extracurriculars for the kids, you don't get to see them a lot. Homeschooling for me is like I'm pretty busy throughout the day with the kids, and then I have things that I want to work on, but I haven't done a really great job at balancing it to like reaching out to people like my grandma, great grandma, you know, just talking to siblings and talking to people often. Sometimes you can be so in your head to the point where it's like, I have a goal and I'm gonna work on this goal day in, day out. I'm not really gonna talk to anybody. I have a job that I want to do, and it's like, no, sometimes it's important to stop, make time, take a day off, take a trip to go visit your grandma, go visit family. Like, it's very, very important. And also, it doesn't even have to be family outside of your house. It could be, you know, one-on-one time with your children. It could be taking them to the park. It could be date nights with your husband. It could be very intentional time for, you know, weekly thing, right? It could be Thursday movie night. It could be Friday fun day. It could be something simple, but make sure that it's intentional. Usually when you're pretty busy, you're like, oh, hold on, I'm waiting on, I'm doing this, or hold on, we'll do it another time, or I'm busy right now. But the thing you really need sometimes is to just stop, be still, and be in the moment. Children have a great way of getting you to see the simple things, the small things, and the small joys, like their little laughter, their jokes. You know, sometimes they hold your hand, their hugs. Sometimes it's all that you need to get you back in the place that you need to be to thrive. So I was like, this is such a good topic to talk about. As far as homeschooling, I do realize that there were some things that I had here, books and a lot of things that I purchased, and I'm like, we don't use these anymore, or this doesn't fit us anymore, or I want to cut this out, or I want to add more, but it requires us to stay at home a little bit more. So I've been evaluating everything, but I was like, maybe this is gonna be a part one. If I have anything else I want to add as far as like doing a reset, like spring cleaning goes beyond the dust bunnies. Your calendar does not need to be booked every single day. You don't need to go out 3 or 4 times to meet other people, homeschool families, be at every event. Like, I'm not an introvert. I mean, I'm not an extrovert. Like, I don't really like to be around people all the time like that, like not daily. That's why I'm like, I don't even know if I could do, you know, like a whole co-op and be committed to that, because oftentimes if I'm around people too much, I get drained. So it's like, just realize, figure out how much you can tolerate. Like, if you are an extrovert and you thrive and you are pumped and energized around people all the time, then maybe you should get out more. But if you're an introvert and you need time to recharge, and you need time to be to yourself, you need quiet time, just adjust your calendar accordingly, right? Also, I guess I didn't mention this, now we're at the end of the video, but also like evaluate your eating habits as well as your physical activity. Think about like, hey, you know, I was eating this during the winter because of the seasonal anxiety or depression or whatever the case may be, and I want to eat to live. I want to eat the fruits. I want to do more juices. I want to get outside more. I want to exercise at least 30 minutes a day. I want to walk. I want to jump rope. Whatever the case may be. I feel like that's also important for spring cleaning. It's kind of like you're setting new goals and you're actively working towards them, but the thing is to simplify it and make sure you're not neglecting yourself, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. I invite you to share your own spring cleaning practices, things you do to pick yourself up during the spring season. When you feel the burnout coming, when you feel the overwhelm coming, do share in the comments and let us know. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.